Good. John, my friend, have a good day.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's round 28 clash is between the 8th place Sydney FC and 12th place St George City FA. Sydney sit on 37 points at the moment with 10 wins, 7 draws and 10 losses. St George City are on 34 points with 9 wins, 7 draws, 11 losses. Leading goal scorers for the two sides, Sydney FC captain Mitchell Glasson has 9 for the Sky Blues, while John Peterson has 5 for St George City. St George City, after being in relegation danger, have won 3 games in a row, knocking over competition heavyweights Sydney United, Marconi and Rockdale. Sydney's last 4 games have resulted in 3 draws and a 4-2 loss to Blacktown City. Should be a great game. We'll be back shortly with the starting squad. Thank you.
Last week was St George. St George FC. It's old school. So perfectly well curated. So nice. I can see St George back for it. That's what it is. And yeah, we're so long on the top of the first matches. Very sad. Yeah. Sorry, last 2 weeks. I actually don't know. I don't have availability to get back to lecture. I love it. Yeah, but other than me, it's all up.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now have the starting teams for tonight's match. Beginning with our visitors, St George City FA. Number 1 is Jack Kinney. Number 4 is Solomon Monahan Baker. Number 8, Stefano Rossello. Number 9, Lucas Bedley. Number 11, Ben Geeson. Number 17, Mason Katafu. Number 20, Jeff Depp. Number 25, Brody Clarkson. Number 33, Lewis Puri. Number 34, Spencer Webster. Number 47, Bassem Savar. On the bench for St George City, we have number 5, Lewis Riccio. Number 6, Tarek Burkan. Number 10, Paolo Mitri. Number 13, Franklin Jan. Number 16, Jon Pedersen. Number 27, Matthew Jackson. And number 30, Gideon Aron. St George FC, coached by Mirko Dural. Now back to our home side, Sydney FC. Number 3, Ruth Rice. Number 4, Kaylin Marshall-Whitty.
Just let me know.
Number 8, Samuel Lancaster. Number 9, Zach Fowler. Number 10, Tay Henley. Number 12, Jared Williams. Number 19, Captain Mitchell Glasson.
3 rounds left for football's greatest ever mid-table to finally take shape. 14 of the 16 teams in the competition still eligible to make the top 6, with just 3 rounds remaining. Here tonight at Rockdale Illingdon Sports Centre, Sydney FC host St George City FA, both very much in the running to crack into those lofty heights. Perhaps the story of the second half of the season, St George City, 3 straight wins and 3 straight clean sheets, and in doing so have knocked off Sydney United, Marconi and Rockdale in the process. 4 points behind a Sydney FC unit that has been rattled by the return of the A-League men's season through the Hahn Australia Cup and a couple of mid-season transfers, some to overseas clubs as well. It's kind of tipped their form on its head. Sydney are 6 without a win, but only yet a single point outside of the top 6. That's a lot of numbers for you to digest, but let's keep it very simple. Sydney need to win. St George City need to win. I bet you've never heard that one before. So let's go through the lineup for this fascinating standalone Friday night blockbuster. My name is Marco De Poli. A pleasure to have you here with me. In goal starts Sydney FC birthday boy Jared Williams, 18 today. Happy birthday to you, young man. William Pezzutti makes way as Dion Negro, Tyler Williams, Kaylin Marshall-Witt, who does return to the 11 today. Line up ahead of course, Williams in net. Samuel Lancaster makes a return after 2 senior ALM caps in the Hahn Australia Cup, as does Reef Farias, who missed 21 days due to concussion protocol. He last played in round 24 against Manly United. Those 2 return and will be alongside Tay Headley and, of course, Nicholas Alfaro, whose only goal this season came at this ground when he did come off the bench. So tonight here he starts. Marin France and the informed Zach Fowler lead the line as Sydney FC Hunter return to winning ways. It's unchanged for Mirko Juril, and why would you when you've won 3 in a row and 3 clean sheets? Jack Kenny's actually kept 9 so far this season and is in stellar nick. Ben Geisen, Mason Tatafu, Tef, and Solomon John Monahan Vika start in that so-solid back 4. Brody Clarkson and Bassam Sabak joined the Lebanese league title winner Lewis Kuri in midfield, while Philippine Youth International Spencer Webster and Stefano Rossello flank the man of the mid-season signings, Lucas Bedleg in the number 9. Those are how the 2 teams line up. Once again, a pleasure to have you with me. Thank you for being here in the first place. Friday night action in the NPL Men, New South Wales, as 2 teams hunt the finals series. St George City 4 points away, and Sydney FC just the 1. But of course, the Sky Blues without a win in 6. And George thrown into the mix, including some ones that have been a stalemate, that have shown their switch in recent years under Jimmy Van Vieren, their long-standing coach of 7 years, to go to a more defensive mindset and build those boys ready for A-League men's football. But still, of course, they'd like a return to winning ways, absolutely no doubt. Huge Glasson's first touch as Sydney squirm away with the ball, thanks to Nicholas Alfaro. And down the far side, they foray. Central back towards Alfaro. Of course, has played A-League men's minutes when he was a mid-teenager. He's given a 3-year scholarship contract, which he's into his 2nd year of. And St George pick up the ball for the first time. And there is Bedleg. 3 in a row for Lucas Bedleg. Spent 4 years across 2 universities in America, racking up the goals, getting experience while learning, of course, his straps in his tertiary education. His first semi-professional contract out here in Australia comes with the red and white side of St George. It's a pleasure to have him in our competition. Only 21 years old. a plethora of goals already and 3 super, super important strikes, of course. He has a real knack of doing an outside of the boot, almost toe punt, if you like. That style of finish is so, so rare. It's FIFA or video game-esque, and in fact, he's lurking here now on Tyler Williams. He'll press the birthday boy in net, but in the end, it's going out. And it's a good cross-field switch of play. And Sydney come forward and cross the halfway line for the first time in this game. Very early minutes into it. They might win their first free kick of it. Not to be, says the referee. And now forward comes St George crossing the halfway line themselves, but this time down the near side. Sabak. This man has come on in leaps and bounds in the last 12 months. And there's a bit of a dead zone in the game. I'll take you through his recent journey, but what a signing he has proven to be. A chance perhaps now into the box. Can they find the right ball in? It's an easy claim in the end. Mitch Glasson, of course, was playing overseas last year before returning to captain Sydney's youth NPL side. He's been their top scorer this season with 9 to his name. He's hunting double digits here tonight. He's been preferred through the entire spine this season. Tonight he deputises out wide. As you'd expect, the academy side with the ball at their feet here on this Friday night. Heavy strapping there on Caleb Marshall-Witt, despite the fact that he's only returning to the lineup here for the first time in a couple of weeks. Certainly nursing that left knee. Looks strong and stable. Credit to the physio team. Sydney yet to enter the attacking third of their home pitch. This their third of their last 3 games to go as Zach Fowler gets among the action. Both number 9s for these two sides. And a clash of blue and red. An in form heading into it as it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. Williams slows things right down. Look at the height advantage that this St George team possess over the academy boys. Williams forming a triangle with these 2 centre-back buddies ahead of him. And down that far side avenue they go again. Glasson is the obvious crossfield switch of play. It's taken off of Sydney, right in an area through the central channel of the pitch. They don't want to be losing it. Tef might get his first touch. He's going to lead this for Mason Tatafu. And in the end it goes back to Jack Kenny, who crosses onto his left-hand side. Clearly didn't want to use that left foot and asks the auxiliary left-back Solomon John Monaghan Viker to step in and use the unpreferred left foot to get the ball away. Clear foul there. It's a little bit naughty. Curry in strong. The Nejma SC side, the Lebanese first professional division that won the league last year before linking back up with his new teammates. Beirut-based. 9-time league titles in his co-native Lebanon. Fantastic experience for Lewis Curry. Oh, Glasson got clipped on the way through there. And that's Sam Lancaster, who's so composed. You can see why he's picked up a couple of minutes in the A-League, or at least at senior level, you might prefer to say. Both caps of his coming in the Oz Cup, he's rendered 4 and then 14 minutes against both Bayswater, then Brisbane. 18 minutes in total, but in 18 minutes he would have, I'm sure, would have watched back on plentiful occasions since that point. This is Mason Tatafu, another one who's been to the US college system. A regular goal scorer from set pieces, as is his centre-back partner, Tef. Jack Kenny, 9 clean sheets this season. And a very impressive save just a couple of seconds into their match last week against Rockdale. Up and away by Tyler Williams, another one who's on those 3-year contracts that were dished out 2 years ago, this being the second year of those 3. This is Solomon John Monaghan Viker, who has the captain's armband. Rossello, and a chance, if not for the good block that came in. That was Spencer Webster, who, playing against academy buddies, must think he's a little bit more at home. He's only young himself. 17 he is. The youngest in red out there. 2 caps for the Philippine under-19s side. Couple of words in French, which I'm not allowed to repeat, but Sydney FC win the free kick, which is what they wanted at the end of the day. Fowler makes a run in behind if for the free kick to be taken quickly, not to happen though. In the end, it's left. Bedleg leads the press. Inside Bassam Savard. Alvaro. His first touch wasn't great. The second one, unfortunately, wasn't much better, and Tef will restart things as the furthest player back, not in goalkeeping attire. Cutting back in, Lewis Curry. Brody Clarkson is the obvious screen to find to split into Sydney FC's midfield. Not preferred. In the end, it's from goalkeeper to Mason Tatafu. A regular Mason Tatafu. 19 starts this season. Amid a host of changes throughout the spine of St George's side as the season's gone on. He's been very, very regular. Of course, played at Bayswater. Speaking of them, the man spent a couple of caps there coming back from the American college system for those 4 years, but prior to that was at Hume City, of course, down in NPL Vic. Picked up a goal down there as well. He's pretty prolific when it comes to banging them in from set pieces off his noggin. Bedleg gets a touch involved there and gets a second one past his man. The back heel was cute, but eventually given away by the 21-year-old. Marshall Witt finds Alfaro, who's given the ball away twice consecutively now, but Sydney FC send it wide to Glasson, who's running diagonally at defenders. Fowler looks to back heel it towards his man, the former 23's Golden Boot winner at Brisbane Roar, his boyhood club before joining Sydney. He's now been worked into the corner quite literally. Back in it drops to Kalen Marshall Witt. A chance for Lancaster in that number 8 jersey to deliver it in, and Teffel, he read it poorly. He cleared it away and forced Jack Kenny into the first significant save either goalkeepers had to make today. And it was nearly a most spectacular own goal. Teff will be counting his lucky stars. Started his last 3, Teff, and of course in those last 3 games they've kept 3 clean sheets. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. Bedleg, but can't ignore the fact that that spine, that defensive unit, that's also been marshalled by their auxiliary left back in Solomon John Monaghan Viker, has been so strong in that time against 3 of the relative big boys, you'd have to say. Marshall Witt back to his goalkeeper. Been hounded by Lucas Bedleg here. Lovely work to skimmy away. And now there's one out of position for Sydney FC. Bedleg flicks it on well. And then cleared away by Marshall Witt, who's been everywhere across this back line in the best way possible. It's meant to be on the right-hand side of this defensive unit, but he's come across to the left there to clean up house. Long zone into the box. Alfaro, that's better from him. Now Zach Fowler is in behind. He's going to be onside because he's in his own half too, but Jack Kenny is really well placed. I might have just noticed then again, he doesn't want to use that left foot, but the right-footed Trivella, which was very cute indeed, came off perfectly well. That'll sting in the Autumn's night. That doesn't show any kind of pain though. Alfaro comes to this near side. Glasson is there. He cues a ball inside wonderfully well. Kept alive here by Tay Headley. Regular goal scorer at this venue. Good ball to find Alfaro. Very good penetrating pass. Alfaro still holding it up. Sending it out wide to Glasson. The Sydney captain gets it past the opposition St George. Skipper. Straight to Tef. And the 25-year-old launches it long, and now Bedleg is in a foot race with two Sydney FC players to beat, and he forces Marshall Witt to put it into touch. Clarkson. Rossello flicks it out wide. Geisen. This is Ben Geisen, a mid-season transfer from Sydney Olympic. He himself having played internationally as well, much like a whole host of his teammates, including Lewis Curry, of course, who I mentioned already, but playing out in the fourth tier of Croatian football. What an experience that would have been, as in came Tef, and Alfaro pulled out of it, and that ball is a nothing ball, if you like, and the easiest pickings of the night so far for Jack Kenny in goal. Who knows what it's like to play against an A-League Academy side. Of course, came up through one, that of the Jets. Hard to believe he's still 22 years old, Jack Kenny. Back spinning ball right up into the air towards Reef Farias' side of the defence. Kept alive by Webster, ball in by the St George City youngster. It'll trickle all the way through. And Sydney through Glasson, who has been up and down this near side touchline all game, is going to force Kenny to come for this one. And that's the best piece of decisive goalkeeping we've seen of the evening. First the save off of Tef's unorthodox clearance. And in that moment there, as Zach Fowler was hunting another goal. Would have been his 6th in 7 starts in this first grade system, having scored 8 across all comps. Young Zach Fowler, just 19 years old, as of course many of the Sydney FC lineup deputisers off the bench will be and are. Williams. Tatafu. Geisen, who will win the throw-in. Sydney will look to press on that far side touchline in front of the array of supporters of both sides. In what has been a very evenly contested game so far, that's desperately hoping after 15 minutes for its first significant chance, not from a shonky clearance of Tef, you'd hope, as Geisen wins that out of the sky. This is Dion Negro. Williams this time to play the aerial ping pong, this time with St George's captain Solomon John Monahan. Vicar half a chance here certainly for St George. Out wide they send it. Now into the box, Rossello. Bedleg trying to turn and make it 4-4, not to be on this occasion. But you imagine he'll get 1 or 2 more chances in this game. France. That was beautifully done to get past 2 there. Better by Sydney with 2 to aim for in the box, including their tallest attacker towards Fowler in the end. Easy for Jack Kenny. And still that hunt for a first big chance in this game goes on. 0-0 it remains. Played quickly towards Ben Geisen, who's looking up the line towards Spencer Webster. And in the space of 3 passes from goalkeeper to right back to right wing, they've made some 60 yards. And they'll keep possession too. Rossello, the short option. in the Ed Webster, the one preferred. Back from concussion, back into the action. Rifarias has to be careful here, though. He has been careful, and he's come away with it, then lost it. That wasn't necessarily his fault. St George with a massive chance here to square it to an open man in red. And the captain up in the box now, twisting, turning, and not quite finding his way through was Lewis Curry. Kept alive really well there by Zach Fowler, who dropped into almost like the 6 area. To deal with that, as Jack Kenny sends it on, Bedleg does flick it on, but he was certainly offside. Everybody knew it, including his teammates there. His last season in France, he was playing for ASPTT Dijon. As an 18-year-old, he scored 33 goals in 33 games. Before as a 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old. This year, 22, forgive me. He had those college years as well. 18 to 21 before coming across here. Picked up a boatload of goals in that American system. Indianapolis, across 24 and 25, he picked up 8, as well as 4 assists. And for Georgia Southwestern State University, 14 goals and 2 assists. And that was just in 29 games participated. Great sliding in challenge there. My word, one of the best moments of the game that was. Kalen Marshall-Witt is trying to keep that starting spot that he earned back here this week. It's a foot race with the byline. The Glasson wins, and then Solomon John Monaghan Viker overcame him too. That is a lovely block by the experienced St George City captain. So a first corner for this, the home side. It is Tay Headley. There's lots of tall timber in red. The boys in blue will have to do something quite special to leap above them. Ball towards the middle of the goal. It's been cleared away. Hold himself back there as Tay Headley goes from corner kick taker to cross deliver. It's a really good ball in. Teff slid. Then everyone after that missed it. It's survived by Sydney. Rif Farias, after his 21 days off, keeps it alive. Driven pass towards Fowler. Quick feet, but his back is to goal. Down he goes. Up he is to get, says the referee. And Bedleg, a square pass. Can they keep it alive here? Through Spencer Webster. Back in behind. Good header away, Marshall-Witt. And Tyler Williams will slow things down. Really good roll of the body there by Sam Lancaster. And sent out wide as Sydney forge an attack through Marin France down that far side. On they go again. He's past Geisen, who's then recovered with a good show of pace. Back in towards Tay Headley here. Headley has a real knack of scoring from tight angles from outside the box. Very good on both feet from being near the corner of the box and finding the opposite corner of the netting. On that occasion, he couldn't quite twist into a shooting angle. And in the end, it goes dead for what will be just a goal kick. So, 20 minutes into this one. Still no goal. Chances less so, few and far between, are now starting to come a little bit more frequently. That's exactly what we want as the neutral viewer looking for some entertainment on a Friday night. Kenny will send this one long. Nothing short being played on this occasion. Strong header one there. Solomon John Monaghan Viker has to be careful. Nicolas Alfaro leading the press. That's a really good looking ball over the top. It's going to force the keeper to come out, and he does. Well handled there by Jared Williams. Back it goes towards him. Very, very close. You can hear Jack Kenny, the St George's goalkeeper, yelling at his striker to press him there. Such a guttural scream from Jack Kenny that Lucas Bedleg turned around and thought he was in trouble. Like he'd forgotten to put the chicken out to defrost. Anyway, Marshall-Witt. Glasson, his only option out wide. Dion Negro. Good pressing here by St George. Done well. They'll win a free kick here. That's really, really good work by Tyler Williams. You might remember is course, on position, a centre-back, but that was a real show of wit and some composure and technical ability beyond his years there. Nicely done there by the 18-year-old. Here he's on the ball again as he bounces it to Sam Lancaster in that number 8 jersey. Lovely driven pass towards Tay Hadley. Curry drops it in towards his captain as St George pick up the ball against space here to turn for Rossello. Really good work by the man whose technical ability we know is through the charts through his years playing futsal at the highest level too. First season having joined from Manly United in the off. Spencer Webster will pick it up with his back to goal. He's outside the box too, so not much use in trying to win a foul out there. He does win a corner though. And this is where you see Tef forward. Mason Tatafu forward. Solomon John Monaghan Vika forward. Bedleg already in there. It's a tall team. Jared Williams has to do his best here to try and out-jump an 11 of very much grown men. This is where St George are very dangerous as well. Tef right in on the goal line. In it comes towards that front post. Tef was there, but it never quite got to him. Just lifted a little too low for his liking. Back towards the corner kick taker. Dashed onto his left foot. Good ball in. Tef is there. And then the shot from Tatafu is crashed home. What a time for your second goal of the season. He's made a big impression from set pieces his entire career in Australia, across all states and around the world as well. And here at Rockdale Illingdon, he has another one. As St George City, for the 4th straight game, leap into a 1-goal lead. And it's from the set piece, where they have reaped rewards. Mason Tatafu with a stellar poacher's finish to crash it past the birthday boy and put his side 1-0 up. But it's the first goal scorer in nearly a month, not named Lucas Bedleg, which I'm sure Mirko Juril will appreciate. He does have goals across the park, but nice that the onus is taken off their brand new number 9. Sydney to respond here, staring down the barrel of a 7th game without a win, with after this 2 rounds left to go in finals. Clear two-handed push in the back of the man we were just talking about, Lucas Bedleg, who high-fives young Spencer Webster. From a Blacktown Spartans youth product. He's been at the club now for 3 years. 18's premiership winner last year, was part of the 20 setup for the majority of the season before Mirko Juril went, you know what, you've got quality capable of holding down your own on the wing in this here, the first grade system. He's having a very decent game. Very decent indeed. Long throw, Monaghan Vika. Struck by Clarkson. And it might just be another corner. And you can tell by Jared Williams' haste to the ball there that he was desperate to prevent just that. Fingernails being bitten in blue. As St George will now take a corner through Lewis Curry, which is exactly how they found the opening goal not 2 minutes ago. The in-swinger it will be. Tef right there near the goalkeeper and the goal line too. One hand raised this time, ball in. Oh, that's not the greatest of all time. On 25 minutes, we have our first plonker. Curry won't dwell on that, I'm sure. This is Reef Farias back into the squad. Lancaster finds Farias again. Sydney have had most of their positive forays forward down this near side, right-hand side touchline, which is, of course, where Mitch Glasson is residing. Played in the Finnish First Division last year, of course, for FC KTP. This is his first year back. Plenty of A-League experience under his belt and senior professional experience as well. 20 games for Sydney FC senior side as this will go all the way through for Jared Williams in goal. Wouldn't be surprised if we see the rest of this first half come down this near side, which is great for the viewers watching along at home, of course. Underneath the nose of the camera, if you like. Tyler Williams, Nicholas Alfaro. Kalen Marshall-Witt, square pass infield. As Sam Lancaster turns under pressure from Spencer Webster. Good turn of pace here from Farias, but then he's given away silly. This is Lucas Bedleg. Glassing in strong, but Tef reads it really well. Positional excellence. Bedleg with a very cute little flick. Slowed down, blocked, hindered, and then caught by Jared Williams, who plays it quickly out wide again. France. Need to see more of him going forward. Alfaro. Nico Alfaro sends it infield, cut out by the red of St George City. Glasson loses out of all people there. Webster, the young'un, against a team of young'uns, fires it over. But he's got some senior shot power in that right strike, that's for sure. And as he searches, young Spencer Webster for his first senior goal. He's not been shy of them this season with 3 in all comps. That first senior goal soon to come if he keeps pouncing on chances like that and showing the kind of bravery he's displayed in that moment there to take it on himself. I like what I see. Farias. Williams thought about coming this way, then went the other. Lancaster now with his left. France out wide. Fowler through the middle, Glasson back stick. Infield, Tay Headley. Plays neither of them. Dion Negro back out wide towards where the ball came from initially. France dilly-dallies past one, Spencer Webster. He's come central here to find the man who stepped back into the starting 11 tonight, Kalen Marshall-Witt. That's a poor pass by the number 4 of Sydney. It's a slide in strong here on his opposite number 4. And St George, there's a general consensus to slow things down here with the ball back in their hands, quite literally from the throw. St George were bothered in the first couple of minutes of the game by a couple of crosses into the box. Since then, it's been very strong defensively, hunting a 4th straight clean sheet and a 10th of Jack Kenny's season. Solomon John Monaghan Viker. Hand around the neck, it almost seemed to Spencer Webster there. Bedleg is almost came away with the ball. Webster again. Brody Clarkson hasn't scored in 1,272 days. Would today be the day that that finally comes unstuck? Corner it will be again, and you can see the frustration on Marin France. Not just because the ball has gone away from them, but because that set piece is about to come in again. I wouldn't harp on it if it wasn't such a significant benefactor of this St George City style of play. If I hazard a guess, I'd say the average height of the Sydney lineup, predominantly made up of teenagers, is probably about 5'8". St George, 6 foot flat, with some well above that. 2 hands raised. Last time they did that, they led to a goal. Tef is threatening, wins the header. Williams kept it out so far, and then it's bundled home. The set piece, so threatening. And in a bundle of bodies, St George find their second. And they are knocking down the door of finals football. Look out. The red and white side of St George are finishing the 2026 season very strong indeed. Sydney completely unable to deal with the barrage of bodies in the middle. And that's been the difference maker.
Second goal there for St George City. Scored by number 4, Solomon John Monaghan.
And so it is, in fact, the captain of St George City. It is Solomon John Monaghan Vicar, who doubles his tally for the season. He's only missed one game to this point, round 19. He has been an ever-present in a team whose backline has been good for many number of years, but particularly that of this season as Jack Kenny slows things down as much as he can to keep the ball and waste time as we head towards the half. One goal against Sydney Olympic. Now he scores against Sydney FC Youth. That's the kind of situation, and this point of the season is the kind of situation where you look to your senior figures like your captain to put away chances, even if from a yard or two out. The set piece, another one which they're about to have, and it's from the exact same corner flag that they've scored twice from already, are starting to tally up here. And if St George batter in another one, this game will quickly be over. Curry's in-swingers have been absolutely fantastic so far, bar the one that hit the side netting. But that was 1 of 5, this being the 6th. It's another very good-looking ball right on the goal line, and Williams has kept it out of his own goal. Good keeping in the end by the young man. Sent out wide towards Glasson, who's given the ball away after taking it out of the sky, then trying to hark back in defence to win it back. The sliding, snapping challenge was very good and clean, although it floored Lewis Curry in the process, but he's got straight back up to his feet, and Geisen will take the throw-in from right back. Finds Bedleg, who's a little wide from goal. St George 2-0 up without their superstar number 9. Williams will appreciate that ball into the box. 35 minutes played, 2-0 the score, 2 set pieces, and that has been the difference here this evening. And to be honest, that might be all she wrote. Sydney need to do something very special here. As mentioned, staring down a 7th game without a win. Headley drops in to give it to Farias, who's put Lancaster under all sorts of pressure, but he's capable, it seems. Sends a ball over the top, looking for Zach Fowler, the opening goal scorer of the day. Tafu is the one closing down Sydney FC's most frequent to score in the last couple of games. But despite all the appeals for both a corner and a set piece, Sydney will get neither, and it is a St George City goal kick. Integral, you'd imagine, Mirko Juril's side to get to this half with their goal not impeded. Don't allow Sydney back into it. This young buck of professional, hungry, contract-searching, sprightly young footballers are not going to give up. Lots of skin in the game still for all these boys out here trying to find a way in what is a dog-eat-dog world of football. And if they give them one, the tails will collectively go up, as Zach Fowler will lead the press on his own. Jack Kenny thought about coming out for it. In the end, Tafu will head it all the way back to him, and he'll be able to pick this up whenever he's ready as he dances with the ball between his feet, then picks it up under duress from Zach Fowler. Long into the Rockdale night sky. Good touch out of the sky by Spencer Webster. Flicked on back towards the young 17-year-old by Lucas Bedleg. In the end, it was overcooked and out for a Sydney goal kick this time. Where to here for Jimmy Van Veeren's side. Talent taken out of this side, of course, by the return of the A-League pre-season and technically what is considered, of course, professional competition, not just friendlies anymore. Losing Lachlan Middleton a couple of weeks ago, not helpful, of course. Zavadinos in goal. Gus Hoofsloot, he's gone as well for the time being, especially due to the injury to Harrison Devonish Mears at A-League level. Taru Kamijo has a goal to his name in the NPL system. He played the first block of the season before Patrick Kisnombo realised that there was a serious gem of a DM playing in the youth league setup of Sydney, so they've lost him too. And still, they're only 1 point outside of finals, although today might change that, or at least the end of the round might see that change, depending on other results as Kalen Marshall-Witt picks this one up. Too strong is Bassam Sabag. Farias goes back to his goalkeeper. France beats one beautifully well. Oh, and that's poor by his high standards. And Jack Kenny will again dance with the ball between his feet. Needs to be careful here, but hey, showing he's adept enough to get the ball away on his left, but straight to Mitch Glasson, the Sydney captain. Marshall-Witt inside of St George's half here. Drops back into his own to find Tyler Williams. Nico Alfaro is back towards his goalkeeper. Reef Farias. 23rd start of the season for young Reef. Headley beaten to it there by Brody Clarkson, a St George favourite at this point in his career. He joined from the Sharks 3 years ago. So the most recent goal scorer of the evening, Solomon John Monaghan Viker, has the ball in hand here on this near side. It's a long throw. The header is won by Sydney, and the ball is cleared away. Probably trying to get to half-time. Also, with their goal not penetrated again, you'd hope. Geisen on that far side, feeding a ball centrally, which Reef Farias cuts out well. France with Zach Fowler running in behind. It's a foot race, which he gets past the Tafu. Jack Kenny comes out, and like an acrobat, looking like the Bundesliga logo, he wins that one as a half bounce before him. Right on the halfway line, flicks forward there by Sabag. Sabag from left side to right side and gives away a free kick. He's only making his 6th start of the season so far, having joined in round 21. Hasn't got a senior goal to his name, the 20-year-old. He only played 2 League One men's matches before becoming an NPL 1 regular. Isn't that just fantastic? Bassam Sabag. Marshall-Witt. Could see what he was trying to do there, but it was cut out by Geisen. But then Sydney win it back through France's industry. Negro. Mitchy Glasson. Central ball to Tay Headley. Caleb Marshall-Witt with a ball in a high up area. Looks to put a curling cross in towards France, who now sends himself towards goal. Twisting one way, then the other. Geisen slips but recovers. And Sydney have a corner, their second of the match. And St George are incensed, but it won't matter. They'll have to do some defending here inside the last 5 minutes of regular time of a first half that has delivered 2 goals for those in red. What can Sydney concoct at home here? The in-swinger to be delivered in by Headley. Crowding around the penalty spot are the boys in blue. Oh, we got the flick on. It was a well-rehearsed move and a very good ball in at that front stick. But the flick on, and eventually took a touch off someone in a red jersey. And Sydney will go from one side to the other. Consecutive corners from different ends of the pitch. Headley will trudge across to receive it short. That he does. Good touch initially. Twist, turn again. Running out of space though here as he's closed down. Good ball in. Kept alive. Struck a goal. Fowler. Have to be careful here. 2v2. On they go. Rossello. Can St George kill off the game here before we even get to the end of the first stanza? Rossello with two in the box. One of them is Bedleg as well. The cutback ends up in a blue jersey's possession. And away it goes. Throw in. Crisp counter-attack by St George on the road here. Webster back to the throw-in taker, Geisen, who then had his cross blocked. Dion Negro in a world of hurt after making that block. It's getting cold here in Rockdale, and that certainly stings on the bearskin. 3 minutes left to go in what has been a first half that St George will certainly be happy with. Left-footed ball delivered in. Hung up a long time in the air for Solomon John Monaghan Viker to win. He has a chance here for a rare brace. He works his way out of danger to send it out wide to Spenny Webster. Good ball in, Bedleg is threatening. Oh, and somebody's ended up in the goal. And immediately the referee is concerned for the well-being of one of the Sydney boys who made what looked like, by the movement of the netting, a lot of contact with that right-hand side upright. Hopefully he's okay. It is Kalen Marshall-Witt. Well, if he's got some wrapping around that left knee, he might need some around the rest of him after that. Had a look on replay here. Surprised he's okay so quickly. Drop ball. Referee allows Williams to pick it up, then drop it himself. And Williams, Tyler Williams, from Jared Williams, that is, plays it out from the back and then receives it back here, Tyler Williams. Not much time to be added on when we do enter the end of the regular 45 in this, the first half. Alfaro, the furthest player forward. Nico Alfaro looking to dink it over Jack Kenny, who'll keep this ball alive and take more time out of the game too. 44th minute of this one. He's about to punt this one long. He's got 2 seconds before he concedes a corner. As per the new rules this season, one bounce and out it goes dead into touch. Throw in Sydney. Farias will take. Sydney work themselves into danger. St George very much aware, as the scoreboard is impossible to miss right underneath from where the camera that you're watching from and through is positioned. Know exactly what minutes of the game it is. They know they can take some time out of this one but still have enough of it to forge a final chance. Now it's not going to be a corner, and for the sake of Sydney they'll be happy. This 45 minutes is up and 1 minute is added according to our fourth official. St George going to have that one final chance that you'd imagine, in all fairness, if they were to score from, would turn the second half into something of a formality for those in red. Good ball in, cleared away to the edge of the box. Lancaster did well for Sydney. Tatafu, the opening goal scorer of the day, the match winner so far with that goal to his name, puts that ball into touch though. We're almost at the end of this first one. Kenny, and away it goes. His positioning and sweeper keeping tonight has been nothing short of perfect. Look at the watch by the referee. Enter half-time, and the sheds we go. 2-0 it is in favour of those visiting. They are very much honing in on 4 straight wins, and at least in this, the first game of this third last round of the NPL New South Wales season, are going to be 1 point shy of the finals with 2 games after this still to make it, needing a couple of results to go their way, but geez, they look good. It's been a day for the defenders, as both Mason Tatafu and Solomon John Monahan-Viker, of course, the number 4 captain. He is, of course, both doubling their respective accounts for the season with goals from identical, almost set pieces. One was crashed home like a classic style poker and poacher. And then from about 1 yard out, it was the simplest of drag-ins for Solomon John Monahan-Viker to make it to Sydney with a lot of work to do and some better setup from set pieces to come as well. All in St George's hands. We'll be back in about 12 minutes or so.
Every week, hundreds of thousands of people turn up around football grounds around New South Wales. Parents, kids, refs, coaches and volunteers. Cardiac incidents can happen to anyone at any time on the pitch.
Right now, not every club has a defibrillator.
And the ones that do are not always maintained or ready to use. In a critical moment, with a defib, that could save lives. That's why Football New South Wales, St John Ambulance and Toyota have come together for Every Beat Matters to help clubs around New South Wales to access defibrillators, cover maintenance and build a register so we know exactly where every unit is around the state. All you need to do is buy a ticket through raffle ticks. $5 can make a difference. Every ticket goes towards funding defibrillators and maintenance for clubs that need it most. A live fundraising board shows exactly how much is being raised. And every ticket you buy puts you in the draw to win a Toyota Corolla. One ticket, real impact. Help your club be ready when it matters. So buy your ticket today.
Down on the edge of the box, Kushka. Inside one defender, can he get inside 2? Battling for the ball, still there for Clark. Clark plays it across, and it's a tap in for Bailey Callahan. Beautiful feed, a beautiful interplay there. Harb versus Curto. He's waited an age here, his Jyden Harb. Takes 2 steps back, Jyden Harb, and he converts into the bottom corner. 1 goal apiece. It's Jyden Harb from the penalty spot. He's on song now, Kukushka. Touches the ball back inside for Bagaria. Bagaria with the shot, low-driven shot. Oh, it slipped through the fingers! It has slipped through the fingers. A calamitous error there from Tristan Prendergast. Armanakis plays it short. Nizam, he had a chance in the first half. Can he create a chance in the second half? Got Nizam! Well, it's off the post, it's off the line. The goal is given! The goal is given.
Good ball in. Knezovic lays it to Everett, goes low, Kienese! There's the opener for the Raiders. A brilliant finish from a man in a rich vein of form. Malbassa launches it forward. Franson heads it past his keeper. It's an open goal for McGrath if he could get to it. Back across. And that's the 3-point sealed for the Raiders. Yakov Malbassa. Now Rag. Can they make it 3 here? Malbassa again! 2 off the bench for Yakov Malbassa, and it is 3-0 for the Raiders.
Marconi looked as though they were finding their rhythm a short time ago, but they've been opened up here by the straight ball. And Evans is bearing down on goal. Kai Evans! His first senior goal, taken brilliantly. Almost an ever-present since his recall, and they're striding forward again here, Manly. He might be able to double his money, Evans. Or can he find a teammate? Coop! It's 2! Disaster for Marconi. Manly are in dreamland. Poised, and he does find Bayliss at the top of the box. And then Yesic sweeps the ball home, and Marconi are alive. A hush descends over Cromer Park. And to Robillard scores. That should be the decisive goal.
Doing well to win the loose ball. Sutherland can't maintain possession though, and it's a nice ball over the top for Fowler. It'll drop nicely for Fowler. 1-on-1 with Nisic. Nisic gets a hand to it, but ball's in the back of the net. Zach Fowler opens the scoring here. Seymour Shaw, roughly 30 metres from goal. Will be Perez to step up. And it's in the back of the net. Jordan Perez, what a strike that was. Jordan Perez, take a bow.
Couldn't find the angle for a shot. Defers to Kobayashi. Peacock got up but didn't get. Will it drop here? Keeley! Spirit hit the front. We'll be happy to have avoided all those scares, but oh, this might drop here for Peacock potentially. Lays it off. Keeley, 2-0. Callum Keeley with a quick fire double. O'Brien. Major deflected ball. It's in. Blacktown have their goal back. Spirit have got superior numbers in space. Alawalia. Oh, it's in. Spirit have surely sealed it now.
Can we find a goal? Bedleg doing his best to try and create one for the home side. Nearly forces a chance. Does force a chance. And there's the opening goal of the night for St George City. Lucas Bedleg, 3 weeks running, puts the home side in front.
Fujita and Yamamura with a shot, and he's picked out the bottom right corner. And Wollongong have the lead. And now Tillo can carry on down the right wing. Great ball from Vlasiewicz. They're still going Tillo inside. Blocked by Duarte. And Krislovic has scored. It's 1-1. Flies it over halfway. Shaked. Ball over the top for Krislovic. He's in on goal here. Pokes it past Kunyul. And have United 58 just won it right at the death. What an impact the young striker has had off the bench. But it is heartbreaking for the
yards. Are you sure? Sorry? How's the heater up there? Yeah, it's good. I just talk so much I don't even notice it. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, if there's a good goal that goes in, wait, it'll be loud. I don't care. Yeah, that's fine. I need goals too. That's how I make my career. And you too. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The second half about to restart, and 2-0 down. Sydney FC at home. No, they need some changes to get them back in. So, 2-0 down. 2 changes it will be. Zinedine Ardiansaya has come on, as has mid-season signing Mr. Adrian Trovato, who scored 10 goals for Marconi in their 20 system before making the switch in the hopes of forging that professional career. Mark DePoli here back with you for this second half. And these two teams hunting down finals football. Those in red looking far the more likely on the live ladder, even though this is the first round of round 28. Are only 1 point away, if you look at it, considering the current scoreline 2-0 in favour of them. St George, no changes for them, as the Rossello will find that ball goes out for just a goal kick, so not an immediate corner for the team that has scored 2 from them already. Sydney straight away playing out from the back. Marshall Witt. This is Martin France. Zinedine Ardiansaya in that number 15 jersey. Of course, represented Indonesia under-19s at the Asian Championships, which of course Nicholas Alfaro and one Matthias McAllister were the champions of for Australia. The Joey setup. Great to have you back for this second half. Let's see if Sydney can launch themselves back into contention for the 3 points. Lots of work for Jimmy Van Vuuren's side to conjure in this second stanza. Bedleg missed the flick on. Ardian Sayer is squished between two more senior figures around him. Webster trying to keep it alive past Marshall Witts, who's just had to go over the top of the corner flag. So St George's 12th man is this near side corner flag. He's made sure he's all still there, and on he goes. He's okay, which is good. Sydney under the pump early to get out of their own half in the opening seconds of the second. Lewis Curry, who's had a great game with 2 secondary assists to his name so far this evening, which won't go on any official counts, but he knows how important that has been as Sydney win their first throw-in of this second passage. So Nicholas Alfaro and Sam Lancaster, the 2 screeners of this Sydney side, who, to be honest, struggled to superimpose themselves on the game in the first half, have gone off. Of course, Lancaster's been all over the country, and it is a rather big country in the last couple of weeks with the A-League squad. Lovely work there by Tay Headley, and then again muscled off the ball, that time by Brody Clarkson, who's a quiet, super high achieving game as Sabah gives it away. Headley turns into space beautifully well. You could see it coming from a mile away. This is what he's good at, Tay Headley. Square pass to find Kalen Marshall Witts. Headley hugs the touchline as Trovato picks it up. Lovely work by Headley to find Fowler inside. Can he flick it towards goal? Trovato was threatening, but the man only making his 3rd cap for Sydney FC since joining from Marconi. Not quite on the same wavelength as his brand new teammates here. They wear the same similar coloured jersey, not quite the same shade as Marconi. Plenty of new faces and play styles to get used to. 49 minutes into this one here. 2-0 it is to St George as Ben Geisen, with that number 11 jersey, when he's back, will dry the ball and throw it short to a twisting and turning Stefano Rossello. And Dion Negro will see that go out. He's just 17 years old. He's one of the younger ones out there in a team of young'uns. He's played as far across as the 18s on one occasion this season, has Dion Negro, predominantly in the 20s, and now in the latter parts of the season and following a couple of changes, particularly in the back line and midfield, in the first grade too. Now in France on this near side here, needs to dictate more. He finally got to play against the team he looks like, at least on social media, looks like he grew up supporting in Spurs. He was very, very productive against them too. He's making a run in behind now. The ball has gone towards Fowler, who might have dropped to France. Got the first touch. Ben Geisen of St George City got the second, and he'll clear it away. That's excellently well done, and to win the free kick in the process. But his hard work in the build-up before the whistle was blown is not to go unnoticed on this occasion. Well done, Ben Geisen. Fantastic. Entire St George City side not selected to start in the 11. The bench, they all spent half-time in their puffer jackets warming up, including one Matt Jackson, who's returned to the squad here today after being out since round 21, his last appearance in R20 against North Sydney Spirit. Solomon John Monaghan Vicker combining really, really well there. He's finding a home, it appears, at left back for the run-in of the pointy end of the season. Lovely work here by the captain of St George City. Gets to the byline, then eventually crosses it in. It's bounced once in the middle, and Marin France drops in to clear it away. Fowler couldn't get there first. Curry recycling it. Sabar gives it away. Curry and strong, but Mitch Glasson was stronger. That's that senior professional experience coming into work there. And check your windshields because Tef's just sent that into next week. Well, nothing crazy has happened in the opening 7 or so minutes of the second half. Everything going so far to St George's plan. Sydney have kept possession of the ball despite their changes for defensive-minded midfielders. So that are some more attacking-inspired players. Given away here, Geisen wins it back. Flicked in behind by Spencer Webster. Handball there, but the hand was on the ground as he slid in, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's not called. In the end, it is, and the appeals for St George have worked wonders. And now they are closer to the halfway line than they are Jared Williams' 18-yard box. So it is going to have to be a clip into the danger area rather than a direct shot. But St George, need I not remind you, have quite the deliveryman in Lewis Curry. Quite the height in, well, every other player on the pitch. Curry's ball, what's a spin. Bedleg is there, Tef is too. As was Solomon John Monaghan, Viker, and Tef might have been cautioned there, if not for the referee running back into his position. Although it was more of a tangle of legs rather than anything too heinous, in fairness to both. Headley, chest control into the infield. France, no foul, comes from the St George camp. France with a lot of work to do here with big bodies in his back. He's dicing with danger. Dion Negro, his only senior goal was a 91st minute winner. You might remember, of course, against Wolves in round 20. That ball's gone up. And a Shamozzle that's eventually won by Mason Tatafu. Good touch there by Headley. Been impressed with him so far in this second half. Ball in, but Tef will win that every day of the week. Down in the box, and they will appeal for it as Tef clears it before his keeper gets there. Then he'll get there again under no duress whatsoever, because who was going to compete with him in the air? Well won there by Reef Farias, but he'll have to work hard to keep this ball alive and in his team's favour, which he does. Lovely work. This is good to watch. This passage of the last 45 seconds or so of very high quality. No indecision about that. Lack of a decision from the referee in not giving the pen there on Marshall Witt. France, good touch, but Tatafu read it well. And it's a 2v2, which the goalkeeper, who makes up Sydney's third in that scenario, will claim it easily. The first 10 minutes of this second half rolls on in a flash. Gets to that little bit colder here in Rockdale. And a little bit closer to a great result for St George, but Fowler's in a world of space all for himself. He could have put up some borders around him with a radius of at least 10 metres either side. And the reason he could do that is because he was, well, offside. Right, so Kalen Marshall-Witt, who you might recall me saying before, has been nursing that left knee injury back to full strength. Off he goes. Nicholas Calder comes on, as does William Pezzutti. This time, last year, William Pezzutti, the number 5 jersey he wears, he was winning an 18s Boys Youth League Grand Final in the 3rd division of Boys Youth League. Oh, Fowler has a chance here as Tef mucks it up, and it's been struck against the post, and the follow-up will go out. Well, Zach Fowler is desperately asking the assistant referee to his right to have looked at that for a second time, and that's the closest by far Sydney have come, and it's the best open play chance of the entire game, and it's come to the team that are down by 2. Yes, Pezzutti was playing in the Boys Youth League too. Grand final win this time, roughly this time 12 months ago. And now here he is in NPL 1 senior football, making his 9th appearance Didn't get to start tonight, which ends his streak of 3 in a row in the starting 11, but what a rise it's been for him. Here he is involved with Stefano Rossello, and he does actually win it back as young William Pezzutti. Tef, whose sliding challenge went unpunished just a couple of seconds ago on Fowler, who's continued to threaten with his lightning straight line pace. Webster, touch off his chest. And strong there was Nicholas Calder. Yet to start in the first grade system as young Nicholas Calder. Entrusted with the number 6 jersey. He's got quite a bit of height on him, so that's to deal with some set pieces and perhaps be lethal from attacking ones too. Curry, who's been good from delivery. What about his own pot shot from distance? Jeez, it had some bend and whip behind it, with a whole lot of oomph too. Wide it was going the whole time, and Jared Williams would be grateful for that in the Sydney net. So on nearly 60 minutes, on the hour mark of the game across 2 halves of football, we're finally starting to see the chances roll a bit more regularly between. Here is Calder, impossible to miss. That's poor, as Pazzuti will see that one go out as he trudges back into position. Calder has a second bite of the cherry here. It's going to touch again. He's still just warming up to the speed of the game here. Rossello stayed onside. Pezzuti to beat. It's been a good battle between these two in the opening couple of moments of Pezzutti's time on the pitch. And it will be a St George City corner on 59 minutes. It is from the same side where they have scored the 2 goals that separate Sydney and St George. It'll be the left-footed wonder that is Lewis Curry, who has been pinpoint bar 1 all night. 2 hands raised. Really well claimed by the man who turned 18 today. Well done, Jared Williams. Sydney need to move the ball quicker than what they are. Glasson. Marin France. Poor by his high standards, in fairness to him. Tyler Williams deals with this one. Goes back to his surname namesake, Jared Williams. Tay Headley, the diminutive playmaker, who's been pulling the strings for Sydney in the second half. The invention is good. Marin France's touch keeps it alive, blocked by Tatafu, whose goal is still considered the winner in this game. Though it nearly wasn't after Zach Fowler smacked the upright some 5 minutes ago. The hour mark we have reached. Sydney searching for a goal. Nicholas Calder out of the sky. Testing Tay Headley. Mason Tatafu comes away with it well. Bedleg, he loses out. Zinedine Ardiansaya over the head of the St George captain, but can he be kept in on that far side? It is not, says the far side ref. Interestingly, coming from the Sydney camp just below us, technical staff suggesting that Zinedine Ardiansaya, instead of playing the halfway to a Hail Mary ball, instead back his ability to run through the middle there. Body roll there by Sabag. Sabag still. What a time for your first senior goal it would be, not to be. My goodness me, the 20-year-old just barraged through that burst of pace. Too quick even for the team of young'uns in blue to keep up with. That's the kind of attacking intent that made Mirko Juril so interested in bringing him in mid-season, you'd imagine. Sabag, here he is again. Curry. Hot shot from the distance on the turn. Was never really going to get enough power behind it, bad leg. To interrupt the flow of Jared Williams, who's been glued at claiming crosses, despite the fact that his team are 2-0 down. Teff steps in and launches it away. It'll bounce once, then twice, then out. Pezzuzzi. Tyler Williams with a square pass out wide to Reef Farias. Goes for the diagonal crossfield switch of play, which Geisen does not win. Marin France did, but it glanced off his head and out it goes for a throw. Sydney's best chance has still been the one that came to Zach Fowler from a counter-attack about 10 minutes ago now. Geisen teases taking the throw in. Doesn't. Now does. Fowler putting into the back of Bedleg there. Sydney's number 6 and St George's number 9 have a little war of words before the ball is put back in play. Nice triangle formed here. Trovato trying to send it in behind to his new teammates. Sabag living dangerously. Curry has done exceptionally well there. Can he launch it away quickly? Looking for Webster. That ball's going to go dead. And what a shame for Cordy, who did so well to turn away from 3 Sydney players on just the solitary touch. Sydney, deep in their defensive third, will have to work their way out from this throw-in. Zinedine Adiansaya asking for it. Brody Clarkson's had an exceptional game here this evening. Not put a foot wrong. He's won the ball again in strong, then leaves one on Calder there. Welcome to first grade son. Tatafu, good turn there by Sabah. Bedleg running in behind. Oh, that was on the angle, which we know he can score from. Solomon John Monaghan Viker twisting like Iniesta here in the middle of the park. Look at this by Curry to invite contact. A much changed St George City lineup with the technicality that's possessed this midfield in the second half of the season. You can confidently say that with all their assets and the sum of their parts, if they make the finals, you do not want to be playing them in round 1. Still a final series and a top 6 spot to clinch in the first place. Geisen, we know what he can do on the ball. Ben Geisen still. Clarkson. Calder needs to be careful here. Rossello's ball blocked. Tyler Williams, St George are humming. Looking for that third goal to kill off this contest. Curry with his umpteenth delivery from a dead ball. Closing in on 9 p.m, which means there's just a little over 20 left to go in this game. Curry with less space to work in on this right-hand side of the pitch, but the ball in is still really good. Teff. Turns out it did come off him. And then the referee changes his mind, so it will be back-to-back corners. Teff in tandem with Sydney's Jared Williams. The latter got the final touch. And as a result, we go again. No caution so far in this game. A perfectly well officiated contest. 65.5 minutes so far. 2 teams that have played it very, very fairly indeed. Can St George bang on the set-piece door again? It's another really good ball in. It's come all the way through. Missed absolutely everyone. And both sets of coaching staff, for completely different reasons, are scratching their heads. How did we not clear it? How did we not get on the end of it? Played short. Calder. No options ahead of him, so he's forced to go back. Adiansaya. Forced forward. Calder. His ball doesn't find blue. Geisen clears. who finds Headley. The number 10 for Sydney finds Marin France in that 33. Ardian Saya looks over his shoulder, knows that the red jerseys are running at him in numbers aplenty. Marin France needs to show his trickery here. Going to play it as safe as he can. Webster just past him in that 35. Tyler Williams in a nosebleed section of the pitch. Marin France. There's no point in trying to whip a ball into the box. Nobody is attacking it. Zach Fowler seems to have gone out to the right wing. Here he is. Keeps it alive, looking for teammates. He's going to have to try and beat 1, 2. He's done well with the first, but Solomon John Monaghan Viker could very well force his way into Team of the Year contention if performance is maintained at the level that he's shown, particularly in the second half of this 30-round campaign. Such a fan of his. Marin France. Ardian Saya. Nick Calder's come central here. Good ball out wide. Sydney moving it quickly. Ball speed is very hot indeed. Ball delivered in, and Fowler was one of the targets, as was Trovato. Glasson takes a pot shot. It was blocked before it got anything behind it. Curry invites contact, rolls away from it. Monaghan Viker pumps it long. Farias wins it. Bedleg involved in the battle, as he so often does. He loves this. Oh, in late there on Tyler Williams. This is Lewis Michio, who's going to come on. The man who won promotion to the National League with Slough last year. I should say the year before. Gets onto the pitch as Stefano Rossello comes on. It's a defensive-minded substitution. Attacking influence player for a defensive-oriented one. It's Tafu. Too slow. Fortuitous to get away with it. Bedleg probably riding his last challenge. If he was to commit another foul, probably get cautioned. Ardian Saya. Don't forget to leave a like on Football New South Wales live stream if you have not already. Show appreciation to the players who are giving it their all here for you on this Friday evening. Teff lets it bounce twice. Trovato there in the mix, trying to rescue Sydney's chances of getting anything out of this game. Farias has to be really careful as Bedleg barrels in behind him. Good pass in towards Trovato. Still too heavy even for him to keep it alive. Teff uses his big body well. Sydney lose out of the midfield. Geisen, full of running, even at this later stage of the game. Back inside is young Webster. Now he's running in behind. Geisen goes himself. He's on the edge of Sydney's box now. A poor giveaway after he did all the hard work so very well. Calder a little slow to clear it. France involved. Tate Headley brought in. And a confident clearance away by Brodie Clarkson. He missed rounds 3 to 10. Has started every game since returning in round 12. And you can see why St George's defence on their clean sheet record, which is soon to hit 10 tonight. Double digits it will be for Jack Kenny. Has mostly come from when Brodie Clarkson in that 25 jersey has been on the pitch for them. What a screen that is. St George, 2 goals to the good. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 tonight, 2-0. 4 rounds in a row, 4 wins in a row. Marin France trying to turn the tide of that, though he's probably fouled Ben Geisen there. But Jack Kenny will actually prefer not the free kick, instead to run down the clock here. Foul or not, Ben Geisen has again done fantastically well to invite the contact and force the Sydney player to initiate it, while still also keeping his team in possession there. Jeez, Jack Kenny can punt a ball, can't he? And good luck putting your foreign under that. I'll lose brain cells just watching the ball bounce. Williams. Inside, 20 minutes left to go at Rockdale Lillenden. And what will be a momentum enriching result for the boys in red on the road. Fowler. Adiansaya. It just looks like there's more red jerseys in the midfield out there. And it is crippling that of Sydney's, which is just struggling to play any kind of football that they so very much want to. They might be forced to start playing a little ugly if they want a result out of this one. Pezzuti goes central. Rovato has dropped in. Calder. Trovato. Drilled pass into Headley. We know he can hit them from that kind of angle. He's going to win a quarter until Jack Kenny bursted out of the blocks like a 100-metre sprinter. And kept the ball from going dead, and again invites that contact, which must be oh so frustrating if you're one of those Sydney boys out there, the way he just trickles it into the corner and waits and waits and waits. It's going to go dead for a Sydney throw.
The second we play one way, you've got to go as close as you can. Nick wants it.
Nick Calder, who's come central. Tyler Williams has moved into that left-back slot for the time being. Marin France is the option, hugging the sideline. Williams going himself and then showing some expert trickery to keep the move alive. France clips it wrong and trips and might have actually hurt himself on this synthetic surface. Calder lucky to get away with that one there. Bit naughty by Spencer Webster. On comes for St George City. Tarek Gurjan in that number 6 jersey, as does Matthew Jackson, who returns for the first time since round 20. Here tonight, at the start of round 28, the number 27 is back. A little touch of the grass, a nod of the head. And Matthew Jackson looks ready. So it's not going to be 4-4 for Lucas Bedleg, but what a game he's had in pressing and holding possession. It's been great to get to watch it with my own 2 eyes in person. As well, Ben Geison's come off, so Solomon John Monaghan-Viker, the captain of St George, will go from left back to right back, and at least he'll get to use his right foot, which is his natural foot, up the near side touchline. Perhaps an even more comfortable role for him to see out the game. Adiansaya. Outside of a counter-attack where St George were numerically at a disadvantage and outnumbered, Sydney had not really created a chance in the game. Mightily frustrating, I'm sure, for their coaching staff. Still signs of life in them, though. With this side that has been forced to rotate in recent weeks and months, you can see that the system is very much working. You know what the Sydney system has produced in the last couple of years. But this is the crunch time. This is the period where you have to take a couple of steps back in order to take many more forward. And those Sydney boys and their coaching staff recognise that. On the other end of the spectrum, this vastly experienced, well-oiled St George City FA side are really strutting their stuff at the pointy end of the season. They are inside 15 minutes from securing their 4th straight win. Which would mean 4 out of their 10 wins, 40% of their wins, have come in the last month. Incredible turn of form. Webster couldn't turn away from Williams. Williams then gives it away. Calder steps in and clears it away. 2 players have stayed down. Have their shoelaces connected? They actually have. Well, we're connected, they say. No shake of the hands, but a little chuckle perhaps. Back to his feet. Headley now drops in to receive. Crosses the halfway line on this near side. Gets past Spencer Webster. Running Ardi and Saya. But again, that Sydney midfield as a collective is struggling to advance the ball forward. Very often the passes are going sideways or backwards. Headley trying to flick it on. They go forward now to find Fowler. Travella pass to find Marion France in the box. This is good by Sydney Yendall. A rushed shot, a scurried shot. A shot that goes wide and a chance that goes begging. More subs afoot. Corey Cronin's going to come on. Reef Farias. A leave of absence after lasting the majority of the game, returning to the side here this evening. And it's back in the legs for another one of Sydney's talented youngsters. Corey Cronin dropped this evening after starting the 2 previous rounds to this, having missed round 14 to 22 entirely. Still working his way back to full match fitness. Corey Cronin in that 47 jersey. It'll be a great time for him to earn his first senior goal. He's also one of the many that have joined the last 2 years from Manly as well. Manly region continues to pay Sydney dividends. This is Cronin against St George's captain, inspired captain, goal-scoring captain, Headley. Trovato. Headley clipped in back play by Brodie Clarkson. He's got eyes in the back of his head. It's like Rodri running around at the base of that St George midfield. That's what he reminds me of. Pezzutti finds Calder. A few defensive substitutions who have come on in the second half. Substitutes, I should say. Ouch, that stung the right-sided fingers of Tay Headley there. Adi and Saya. Calder. It's just so crowded in there. Trovato sends this one out wide. Sydney desperate for that chance to come their way. Is this the moment here? Well headed away by Tarek Ercan. Man who was at the club, one of a few still sticking around, who won promotion in 2022. Paolo Mitri among them as well. And of course Mirko Juril, despite taking a year off in that time. Since then, is of course the head of that project Push 2. This is Corey Cronin. St George City are forcing Sydney into wide areas where they know they're going to struggle to then deliver the ball in, considering their height disadvantage, and then it forces mistakes like this. Lewis Corey gives the ball away. Often said that tonight. And like Ercan, who's capable through the centre of the midfield too, preferred as a right-hand centre-back to see out this game here. Tay Headley, lovely work. Corey Cronin, Solomon John, Monahan Viker, sliding into perfection and getting a round of applause from everyone here at the ground. Absolutely certain everybody can hear his commands. It was a little push on the goal line with Jack Kenny there. And on it goes. Teff steps in to settle the tempers out there. Not quite the time for a boxing match, but at least Jack Kenny's already wearing some gloves. Sydney bearing their frustrations, it seems. We're about to see Jon Peterson, who is their top goal scorer this year, with 5 to his name, enter the pitch, for whom I'm not sure yet. Finally, the ball to be delivered in this in-swinging corner. It's gone deep. Calder is the obvious target, the tallest in Sydney colours. And Kenny hunting that 10th clean sheet. Getting closer. Getting closer to that 4th straight win. And to the bench we go. Jon Peterson to come on. Off comes their youngest player on the park this evening. 17-year-old Spencer Webster has had another fruitful evening. Yet to find that first senior goal, but that's not something he should think about. What he should be proud of is the performance he put in. The hold-up play, the trickery, the bravery he displayed. Jon Peterson on to see out the game. Fantastic, Spencer Webster. Good on you, young man. They're in St George, and don't they love it? Quite the turnaround from when Marin France got a brace. So Lacey picked up one, Mitch Glasson as well, and Tay Headley combined 4 goal scorers to put 5 past this St George team in round 13. We are a long way from that. A long way indeed. Quite the turnaround. It has to be said. Cronin for Sydney. St George allowing Sydney to have the ball. And essentially let the clock run down. Sitting in this very centre-heavy mid to low block. It's getting a little argy-bargy out there as Sydney try and find their way back into the game. St George have got Sutherland Sharks and Apia after this. That might seem tough to play 4 and 1 on the table, as that shot does go wide from Zinedine Adiansaya. And Jack Kenny now goes down with a cramp after all the kilometres he's run, taking the ball to the edge of his box and then picking it up. Yes, with Sutherland to come and Apia to come, that's 4th and 1st place respectively. There's a bit of context I should throw in. Of course, they beat Sutherland Sharks 1-0, did St George. And they also beat Apia 2-1, that score was. And that was at a very different time of their season where they weren't quite as put together and brick on brick as they are now. Apia could very well have the league title, the premiership, wrapped up by that point. Who knows how they may rotate and where they could be in the Australia Cup too. So it's very much on for St George. They've shown they can beat the 2 teams they have left to play after this. They're just going to see this out, get to those games, and play the way they've been playing this last month or so. Sydney have got Rockdale and Sydney Olympic, who they lost to 3-0 and beat 2-0 respectively. Sydney Olympic could be fighting for quite a lot on that final round, and it's at Belmore too. Tyler Williams was in a world of hurt after a challenge that came in the middle of my spiel just then. He's moving a little gingerly, but it's better than it was 30 seconds ago where he could barely put 2 feet in front of the other. Now he's entrusted with the ball at his feet, and he looks okay. He's shaken off any concerns. Final 5 minutes of this game that has belonged to St George. Nice work there by Matt Jackson as he finds his sharpness again. He's evaded the sliding challenge to Jon Peterson is put in behind. It's Jon Peterson who flashes it across the face of goal. Show of the firepower they have off the bench. Jon Peterson, no slouch. Perhaps not the preferred number 9 for the run-in to the end of the season, but still very, very capable of leading a line and given the right service. Quite the options they have through the middle up top. Less than 4 to go. St George nearly there. Now in France has gone from left to right. Good ball in. Header comes in and straight into the hands of Kenny. That clean sheet intact. Far better by Sydney and a great run into the box to split these towering centre-backs. And Mitch Glasson will be wondering what he needed to do to find the back of the net there and secure his own 10th of the season. So unfortunate anywhere either side of the goalkeeper. It was in, no doubt. This is Matt Jackson, and now Monahan Viker, who will win the 50-50 shoulder to shoulder. He won't be able to keep it and prevent it from going out. 3 minutes left to go. Sydney played as quickly as they possibly can. Corey Cronin and Zach Fowler trying to double up on the captain of St George. They couldn't find the long ball past him though. They've opted to play it short. Trovato finds Tyler Williams. Trovato has to hustle hard to keep this in. He does. Brody Clarkson positioned well to knock them off their stride. Urchan helps clear that one away. Has adopted the captain's armband too, has Tarek Urchan. Put the hard yards in over the last couple of years, and as this team hunt down finals, he makes an appearance off the bench. It's no wonder that they entrust him with that armband, as someone's gone down in back plate. Tatar who heads that one away. Clarkson with a bit more oomph behind it. Every player on the pitch, all 22 back to their feet, so there's no concern for Marin France, at least anymore. 90 seconds left to go of the 90 minutes. St George just defending so very well. Lovely work. Tay Headley just didn't get enough behind it. And it was the wriggle room he needed to open up the space. But for all the back lift he got, not enough power behind it. And that feels like it might just be the last chance. Mitch Glasson's header right into the hands of a grateful Jack Kenny in goal. Followed up by that chance there for Tay Headley, which he put straight down the throat of a goalkeeper desperate for that clean sheet. How much time is Jackson Mackey going to give to us, specifically Nicholas Danaskos, our fourth official? 30 seconds left to go. St George nearly there. 3 minutes it seems to be added on, probably for all the changes that were made. Peterson. 3 Sydney boys trying to take the ball off him. Curry at the near post. Good save by the birthday boy and cleared away by Sydney. That brings about a loud round of applause from the Sydney faithful that have made the trip out here. On the live ladder, they've played one more game than everybody else. Sydney and St George City, both sitting on 37 points. But of course, the story of the evening 2 goals for St George that have given them the 3 points and taken them to within 1 of the top 6. Let's see how the rest of round 28 pans out. Round 28 of 30. Not long left to go as that ball goes dead. Symbolic of the Sydney evening. That's already 90 seconds of the 180 added on by our 4th official. Well done by Tef. Resisted the urge to just pump it long. And has a moment where he displays his bravery and his cheek. Back to Jared Williams. A couple of seconds left to go in this Friday night round 28 opener. St George just doing their best to grind down teams without necessarily having all that much possession. It's a really, really efficient way of playing. Look at the watch by our referee. Is there a third coming here? Matty Jackson full of running. He split 3 sky blue jerseys. Matthew Jackson, what a time it will be for his first goal of the season. Curry out wide. Jackson now sent into the box, sliding to keep it alive. Artie Nsaya goes down under the challenge, and it's claimed by Sydney's keeper. And that will be the final moment of the game. A pair of goals for St George's stalwart defenders. Sees their 4th clean sheet come with their 4th win. A trio of 1-0s, and now in round 28 a 2-0. Thanks first to Mason Tatafu and to Solomon John Monaghan-Viker. Those first half goals painted the picture of what the plan was in the second half. See it out, and see it out without conceding too many chances. Mitch Glasson had something of a sighter. It went straight down the hands of a very grateful Jack Kenny. But other than that, St George did so well to keep them out. And geez, that mid-block where they forced them to create chances out wide nullified the Sydney boys to creating very, very little. Even on points, they are on 37 here in round 28. St George now within 1 point of the top 6 with the rest of the round, though, still to play. My name is Mark DePoli. This finals run-in is going to be fantastic. Thank you for joining me here this evening. It's been a pleasure to have you, and I will see you next time.